Oh, sorry to keep you guys waiting. I don't know. My network has been so just hold on for 6 minutes, please. We'll just use JavaScript DOM to manipulate the form which we have at hand. Then after manipulating the form using the JavaScript DOM, introduce you guys to React. So that's just what we do. So guys, I don't know, still unresponsive. So first of all, Joshua, do you have the GitHub? I hope you've gotten the GitHub repo for the project we are working on. So everybody should just open up their projects on their VS Code. So we'll just get started while I'll find a way around this. So let everybody open their project. Let's highlight things we need to do. Yeah, in fact, that's important. I should have said that before we even before keeping you guys waiting like this. I really apologize and I'm sorry about that. Just this Nigeria's network has unforeseen occurrence sometimes. Yeah, good evening, Lawrence. Good evening, Joshua. Good evening, Temitayo. Let's all go back to our pizza form projects and everybody should be there. I shared the repo last time to each one of us. Yeah, exactly. The repo for the pizza form. Shared the repo to all of us. So let's work with that. So I'll be giving my network a final shot to see if it's going to work out. So everybody should have opened the project down. Then before I join again, because let me say I might be disconnected for 2 minutes. But before I join, you guys should list out, looking at that form, what are the things you would need to properly validate. Take note of the questions. What are uh, the elements in the form you would need to validate properly before sending it? You understand? So you guys should list it out. Then immediately I join, you let me know these stuffs. Yeah, good afternoon, Joshua. So you let me know these stuffs that you feel should be validated. Then we will now use JavaScript DOM to do that. So let's get started, guys. Everybody should open their projects, and I'll be with you guys shortly in 2 minutes. Let me switch to a better browser. All right, so it is successful, and I've been able to fix it up. So let me have you guys observation on the chat box ASAP. What are those elements you want us to fix? Those elements you want us to validate. Let me have it on the chat box. Meanwhile, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, so Joshua said submit button. So what would you want us to do on the submit button? Let me have it on the chat box. Lawrence, how about you? What do you think needs to be validated? I think that's one of the way we could use our DOM, the JavaScript DOM, to manipulate this. We know in the last class, Lawrence, we talked about different kind of functions, manipulations of DOM, and the rest, the others also. So you guys should look at the first name. It's kind of how would I put it? You okay, I think I just got the message on the Google Meet. Okay. So I saw the name session, both the first and the last. Then okay, the submit button should be able to display error message if needed. Then listen to the form submit event, isn't it? All right. So why Joshua said the name section, that's the both the first and the last name. Good. So we'll be validating the first name, the last name. The first name now we would want to make sure it's just name and not numbers. Because somebody can just, if there's no proper validation, someone can just put numbers as name, then put an email, and you could put anything as a phone number. I don't know if you've seen um movies where somebody would okay, email validation form should display error when empty. That's also one good stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen movies whereby somebody will place order and it will get delivered to somebody's home. And when they check the name of the sender is kind of like dummy. Can't find any name. Yeah, good. So that's just one thing we need to do. We need to be able to validate the names. The first name, the last name. So the first name should be just alphabets. We don't need characters. We don't need numbers, just alphabets. And the alphabet must not be less than three words. The alphabet must not be less than three. So let's do that. Everybody should go to their VS Code. I'll be creating my okay. I've already created my index.jx. Yeah, this was where I was using this to explain the DOM. Right. So this was when I was using that. So if you've not created your index.js, please do create your index.js. Then in the body, add at the bottom, that's the very last, close to the closing body tag. Reference your index.js by adding script tag, and the attribute you should have the source that points to your index.js. So let's quickly head straight to getting the value for the what would I call it, for the first name. Let's do that now. Here's the first name. This is the first name here, isn't it? Yeah, this is the first name. So let's do that. We'll create a variable, we'll call it first name. Although that's why we need to upgrade to better libraries like React and so, where we already have libraries that do validations for us. So get elements by ID, and we'll call this first name. Do we have an ID here? We'll call it first name. All right. So the next thing we'll do now, you can see we've used the DOM what manipulation. Can you see it? We have used the DOM manipulation. So let's do it for the last name also. Let us check. I already have my copilot running along with me at full speed. Let me see if I'm still connected to the meeting because the network at times can be very funny. Okay, good. Joshua also said upload receipt here. That is, choose the file. Choose file button should be restricted to JPEG and PNG with less than 50 kilobytes. Exactly. So we'll be doing all of that. So yeah, these are our index.js. And the last one is the email. I hope you guys are following. Can you guys see my screen? If you can see my screen, just give a
Yes,
reaction. Let
yes.
me know. All right, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Mm, all right, so I'll have a comment here that says select the input elements. Then right here I'll say add event listeners to the input elements. So let's do the first one, which is the first name dot add event listener, and we'll call it validates. Should we call it validate input? Yeah, since the first name and the last name, we are checking for just alphabets inside only. So I think we should just use both of them. Now, remember when I was talking about event listeners, when you add the event listeners to the input element, that's the DOM. Now you are being connected to the DOM. You would now need what? The event listener. The event listener we are looking for is the input event listener. Listen for inputs. Then we need a function expression. Now this is the function expression, and we've not defined the function. We just called the function validate inputs. Are you with me? So we'll do the same thing for last name also. It's going to use validate inputs. Then for email, but the email is not going to use validate inputs. So that we'll create another what do they call it? Function expression that is just for validating of email. So I hope you guys are following. Is there any questions so far? Lawrence, okay, you good. Joshua is good also, right? Okay, that is good to hear. So what's the next step now? The next step is to define our functions. So we say defining the validates input function, isn't it? So no, we don't need AI suggestion here because we need to do something very, very important. So the first thing first is I hope you guys have heard about regular expressions. Yeah, that's the first thing we need to do. So I would write what we call utility function. And you know what this function will do? This function is to this function will be to check if a text is just alphabets. So that's what we need. And we'll put here probably input or so. Are you getting? Now I don't need the AI contribution for now, please. I don't know. Like I will turn off my copilots. So in reg X, there's a way to check if it is only, that is, contains only alphabetical characters. And when we say alphabetical characters, let me give you an example. A to what? To Z. Or
A to Z. That's an example of how it should be for alphabetical characters. So how do you do that now? Remember to use the slash, which says check if it starts. Are you getting? If it starts with an alphabetical character, then use your upper correct. Where is it here? Then what is the boundaries? You now have to add the boundary and see A to what? To Z in small letter, then A to Z in capital letter. Then remember the pound sign. That is it's like check the next character, check the next character, check the next character in the front. Just keep checking all of them. It must just be alphabets. Are you getting? Then what do you do next? You will return. Now if it is false, are you getting? Let's do a test. Let's check it out. We say return. We won't say you should return your guess inputs because it's either going to return a true or a false. Okay, let's leave it that way. Should return a true or a false. So that's the first thing we'll do. That is to check if it's an alphabet. Then we'll use another function that checks the length. Check, sorry, camel casing. Check length. Put value. Sorry. So suggesting, please. So we say um and we see length should be equal to value dot length. So we say if value dot length is less than 3, or if value dot length is greater than 20. Good. So if the length of the in name is greater than is less than 3 rather, you should return false. But if the length is greater than 20, you know somebody's first name that is greater than 20 is already an headache. You get for just your first name. So in that scenario, you should return else. Return true. So we've done that now. So now let's now go straight to our validate inputs. Guys, hold on a second. I need to turn off this stuff. I hate when it's suggesting. Just allow me do my thing. So let's define our function. And we'll call it validate inputs. Isn't it? Now it's not taking any parameter. Isn't it? Guys, I hope you guys are following.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear. So now we say const and name. Now we are not using okay. Now it's going to take in a value. Have you guys know it's going to take in a no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't take in a value. Rather, if that is the case, we have to define 3 different functions. Yeah. We have to define 3 different functions. So let's call this one validate first name. I don't want to make it look complex, so let's do it slowly. If not, I would have said I should use this dot value. You get, but we won't be using that. Or should we? Let's use this dot value. Let's not go through the stress of. Yeah. So it looks into the what are they calling it? No, 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 no. Let's use the usual way. Validate first name. First name. I don't want anything too complex. Let's just do it first. Validate first name. Good. And we'll say name and we'll say this dots. We won't use this. We would say first name dot value. Exactly. So that's what we want. First name dot value. Good. So what we would do now? We will now start calling our function to check if both of them returns true. If both of them does not return true, then it is what? Whatever the person puts in is not what? Is not valid. So we have put, we'll check for our is alphabets and we'll put in what? We'll put in the name. This is the name that we collected here. Then remember, Joshua, you were in the beginners class. I taught about the conditional operator, isn't it? Where we saw the and, the or, and the rest. So the and, remember what I said about the and? Both side has to be what? To be true in order for you to get what? A return value of what? True. So we cannot use an if statement. Are you getting? So we see if is valid. Are you getting? Good. Now we now want to style the inner HTML. So we can give the first name the style, the border color to be green. Most times this Copilot always runs faster. Else, we would say first name, the style, and border color should be what? Should be red. So let's test it out. Let's see how it's going to look like. All right, Prince. I heard you. So I think we'll need to reload, isn't it? Hold on a second. Let us stop and let us start. Okay. So you can see it's red now. Can you see the DOM in order? How about we do something? Are you guys with me?
Yes, 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 yes.
How about we do something such that a text you get, it should come in between the first name and the box to say name must only be alphabets. Is that not a better way of validation? Or this is okay? Now there's another thing we are seeing here now. It doesn't hurt to reload. Are you guys seeing this? I don't know if you've been to a site and you mistakenly entered something wrong. Are you getting? Let's say you leave a site now and you mistakenly entered something wrong. Everything will just be red since it have checked the first and. So I think we shouldn't use this event listener. Rather, we should use focus. Let's try the focus out first. Or should it be focus or it should be blur? Let's look at this event listener called blur. So still give us red. Let us check our also. Okay, it's telling me validate input is not defined. Yeah. Let's comment this line out yet first. These two line. And then let's hot reload. Yeah. We are still having red. Why are we having red? Should be blue once we leave. Let us check. So let's log out reg s first. Okay, so I'm logging out reg s. Let's see if it's from there we're having our errors. Okay. No, I didn't mean you should log out. Hold on a second. Good. Let's log out for guess the test inputs. Let us see what we get. All right, so we go undefined. Are you guys seeing that? I guess that's why we had the color of red, because when is valid checked, probably this one give undefined, you get, and this one give undefined also. That's why we got okay. Yeah, and look at this. For the is alphabet, we did something wrong. It's supposed to be okay. Yeah, it's input from both side. Input from both side. That's from the name. So that means probably we are getting it wrong from here. Let's log out the name first. All right. So let's do this. All right. So we got the name, of course. We did got the name. Name is who is that? Okay, Lawrence, your hands is up. Let me have your question.
Yeah, okay, thank you, sir. Please, I want to know what you're trying to achieve because I don't know what you're trying to do, sir. You said you're
Okay.
trying to use the blur in the event list
Yeah,
now. So what does it do?
the blur is immediately you lose focus. That is, you go to another element, or you stop working on that particular element which you are working on, which is the first name. It triggers this function. You know, we were actually using inputs before, so I decided to use blur instead. It triggers this function to check what you've written and validate that the first name does not contain number and it doesn't contain special characters, because name are meant to contain numbers and special character. Are you with me now? I hope I'm still connected.
Yeah, I heard you, but I think a demonstration would explain better, sir. As well.
Okay, so let's look at it together. So starting from the first name, this is the first name here in our form. We give it an ID of what the inputs to be, what to be first name, isn't it? So I used the DOM to get the first name, which is here. First name, and we said documents dot get element by what? ID. Are you with me? So we got the first name. Now we need to validate the first name to check if the first name contain any any words, any alphabet. Are you with me? If it contains any special character or so. So I used a regular expression. I called in a function, and this is the function here. Okay, your hands is up. Whose hands is up? Someone's hands is up, I think. Yeah, Lawrence, let me. Okay, that's Timitayo. Yeah, let me have a question, Timitayo.
Sorry, please. Good evening, Mr. Gideon. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can just help me paste this this code on our chat, like on our group chat. I had network issue connecting earlier, so I just joined and
Okay, I right now the PC I'm using can only permit me to paste on the Google Chats. That's the Google Meet chat box right now. That's this chat box you're seeing. So you should be able to copy that from your if you are using the PC. But if you are not using the PC, I don't think you'll be able
yes,
to
I
copy
am.
that.
Yes, I am. I'm on my PC. My only concern is just that sometimes when you try to copy it, it's always caught in its midway. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's true. So I would have to do it step by step. So let me take the first part.
I'm so sorry for dragging us back, guys. I
No,
apologize.
no, that's not a problem. But Lawrence, I hope you got the explanation now and you are on tab with what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, sir.
All right. So all I just did was just to break it down, break the whole process down. If not, I could have done it on the function that is triggered whenever an event occur. So I just decided to just break it down a little. All right, so Timtayo, you already I've sent everything to you now.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So now that brings us back to our code, and we're checking if his alphabet is we're actually getting false, and we're trying to see where the false was coming from. So I had to use a log to check where the false was coming from. The first one was to check the length. Then the next stuff here was, I think I should use, yeah. So because I was still getting a red line, so I wanted to know why I was getting a red line even after um, the whole process. So let me reload. Then meanwhile, I was using my console.log because that's where I was actually logging things on. All right, and you can see I got false for which of this is returning false. I really don't know which is returning false. So I will see false one. So that's one way I can check which of my console.log actually got consoled out. And this is false two. So and yeah, so let me put in varistus. Yeah, so false one keep giving me error. That means my reg S is not properly written. So let me check it out one more time and let's see what's wrong. So it's A to Z, A to Z. Then we have the pounds. It's the pound
Sorry,
sign.
sir.
Yeah.
Is it not supposed to be like in a string format for the const? Because the const regex.
The regex.
Yeah, you just you use an equality sign, then a forward slash, then a caret. Is there no? Shouldn't it be in a quotation mark, like in quotes?
No. This is the rule. You know, this regex is telling us the rule. This is the rule for the test. I guessing.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
this is the pattern. This is the pattern we want the test to follow. All right, somebody's hands is up. I think I can see somebody's hand. All right, Timtayo, let me have your question.
I'm so sorry. Oh. Please, what's the function of that regress dot text and input? And I can see that you assigned. Okay, I can see that you assigned it to be a constant, and I don't understand how you define that constant to be what is there, and what does the regex dot text method rather? What does the dot text method does for the function?
Yeah, the
Thank you.
test method shows you it returns a Boolean value to check whether a pattern exists in the particular string you just put into it. Are you getting? So now this is the pattern. So I named this pattern regex. Are you with me? So now this is
Yes,
the
I'm with you.
pattern. Yeah, so this is the pattern, and I want it to check that it only returns. Okay, yeah, I think this is where I got it wrong. Okay, yeah, it only returns any character, any single character that is a letter. So any of the character that is a letter here. So we're actually checking the first name to see if the first name contains a number or special character. So if the first name should contain a number or a special character, this pattern is going to fail and it will return false because this one only checks for alphabet only. Are you with me? So that's the pattern I defined here, which is what you can see here. This is the pattern. Then we use the test to check this pattern to see if whatever inputs we have here matches the pattern. If it doesn't match the pattern, rather it returns false. Are you getting?
All right. So in essence, what you're saying now is that forward slash sign. Please, can you move your cursor a bit? Like
Yeah,
the first forward slash sign and the last forward slash and the last forward slash sign. These are the like the container housing it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I was getting an error and I checked, and somebody's hand is up. Whose hand is up? Temitayo, your hand is okay. Prince, your hand is up. Let me have your question.
Okay, my question is that the rate, is it only checking, is it only validating the alphabet?
Yes. So here means look at the upper caret. This upper caret here tells you that the character must start with what? A string. That's what the upper caret stands for. The start of a character, that's the start of a string. Now, here is a boundary telling us the kind of strings we want to accept. The small letter A to the small letter Z, or the small capital letter A to the capital letter Z. So if you write your name as Ada and the D is a big alphabet, we will still accept it. Are you with me? So now after that, there's a plus sign here. The plus sign, that was what I didn't add initially. And that's why I was having a false. The plus sign says we want more than one occurrence. That is, you know, what I was checking for without the plus sign means we are only accepting one alphabet. That's one single character. Are you getting? But once I add the plus sign, it tells you if there's more than one character, still check. That is, if a B is added to the next character now, still check the B if it matches this pattern. Are you with me? Then the closing pound sign is saying, is this a pound or yeah? No, the dollar sign is telling us that this is the end of the words, the end of the string. Then the boundary. So now I don't think we should have any false condition again. So let us check. Good. You can see now we have a green. We have a green words, a green border box. But if it was not correct, let's say we have just two alphabets, we should have red. That is to tell you your input is not what? Is not, the first name is not correct
Please
because we
go
need at
back.
least.
Sorry. Go back to the code. Let me see what you did. I beg.
Okay.
Just added plus sign in between that dollar sign, Abi.
Yeah, Prince, I guess you are just joining the class now, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't actually watch your code from the beginning. Okay, just hold on a second. Let me ask a question. Lawrence, Joshua, did you guys follow through what I did just now? That is so far. Did you guys follow through? Is there any point I need to explain better? If there is, then we'll just start. Okay, Joshua said he followed through. How about Lawrence? Lawrence, how about you?
Yeah, we are good, sir.
So you really like, you guys really got the concept, how we went from here all the way here to this content here. All right, if that's the case, let's carry those that are just joining along. So remember, the DOM is the programming interface which we can use to interact with our HTML. Isn't that true? Guys, for those of you
That
that
is
are
true.
joining, hope you guys know that the DOM is the programming interface for us to interact with our HTML. And there are ways we can get to the HTML elements using our DOM. So you could use the document.get element by ID. You could use the query selector. So we want to check initially when the class started. Yeah, okay. When the class started, we were looking at the form and wanted to see ways in which we can validate the inputs of users. Are you with me? We want to check the input of users to see that they don't put in rubbish and submit to us. Anything. So we made a contribution. Let's go to the chat box. Richard made a contribution that we should validate the name. That's both the first name and the last name. We should also validate the email. Then sorry, that's Lawrence. Then Joshua also made a contribution that we should display error message if needed. Then listen to the form submit events. Not just that. And the submit button should display error message if needed. Yeah, we're getting to Joshua's part. And also to choose to restrict files that are not JPG or PNG. And it should be less than 50 kilobytes. So that was what we are working on. So we decided to start with the first name and the last name. Now, using the interface, the DOM, we went to the form. That's the form now that has the first name, which is the input you are seeing here. Then we went there and we got the inputs. That's the first name inputs by ID. That's what we did here. First name, and we say document.get element by ID, first name. Are you seeing that? Now we've been able to use the DOM now to access the HTML element which we want to do what? We want to attach an event listener to. Now the next step was to add an event listener. The event listener we added initially was inputs. That is why you are imputing. It triggers what? It triggers the form, the JavaScript, that's the event listener. And while you are typing, it keeps triggering. You can see, yeah, it triggers it. Are you seeing it? So that was what we were using before. But I felt, no, let's look at ourselves as a user now. You just wanted to start typing, then all of a sudden everything went red. You'll be scared. Are you getting? That was one thing I just considered. Imagine you just want to start typing and you just put in E and everything is red. No, that's scary. So we decided to use another event listener. So it's left for you guys to go and study about the different event listeners that we have. So we decided to use Blur. And what's the Blur event for? The Blur event is to check once an element loses focus, it triggers the event listener. So once it triggers this event listener, the event listener checks for the conditions which we want to check for. So what are the conditions we want to check for the first name? We don't want a name that is less than 3 characters. And not just that, we don't want a name that contains special characters. What are the special characters? I hope you guys know what special characters are. Hold on a second. I hope you guys know what special characters are. Let me write it here. So @ is a special character, the $sign, the percent, the slash, the hash, the star, those are all special characters. And we don't want a name containing number, because I've not seen somebody just wake up in the morning and names himself, I am John 1 or I am John 33. You know, that's not, we can't identify you. Where is John 1 and how did you become John 33 or so? So we decided to just check using regex now. So we created an utility function that checks for only alphabet character, which was what I wrote here. So I start with the words. I start with the pattern. Now this is the pattern. The pattern is to check for alphabetical characters. Then I use the test to check it. So the test is going to return a true or a false. You get, so I was having errors due to due to the fact that I missed the plus sign here. So I was having error. If not, I should just add only return regex. Isn't this how to spell return? Okay. Yeah. So it returns a true or a false. Then the next thing I checked for was to check for the length of the name that you've just typed. So normally, you would use the value.length. Are you with me? So the value.length. So we check if the length is less than 3, or if the length is greater than 20. Your name should not be more than 20 characters, except it's an ancient Hebrew name. You understand? Your name should not be more than 20 characters. So if it is more than 20 or is less than 3, it should return false. Else, it should return what? It should return true. So now look at the event listener. We added an event listener. Now, what happens when an event happens? It calls a function. That's your callback function. And here in this case, the function we gave to the event listener for the first name is validate first name. Which is it here? This is the validate first name. Now, using the DOM, remember the DOM is the programming interface for us to get to our HTML. I went into the DOM, which is the first name I referenced here, and I said it should give me the first name. That's the element's value, which is the input value for the first name. I want the value. That's the contents that it's currently housing. So that's what I wanted, and I got it, which is the first name dot value. Then I created a variable called is valid. Then I checked I first called is alphabet function, and I gave it the name. That's what the user just typed in. You should check if it contains only alphabets. If it contains only alphabet, according to our guess, it should return what? It should return true, isn't it? Then you should also check the length. I called in the check length function. The check length function should return true if it is greater than 3 and less than 20 words characters. So I called it that to check. I use the AND operator. Remember the AND operator, the value on the left and value on the right must be true in order for you to have a what? In order for you to return a true value. Are you with me? So now if both conditions are true, the isValid function, guess what? It becomes a boolean. It receives the value of true. But if one of the condition is false, the isValid, guess what? It gets a false value. So now I can now check inside my function if isValid is true. If isValid is true, I still went into the DOM, which is the first name, and I said the first name and the style. I went in to attach a style, and I said you should give it a border color of what? A border color of green. Are you with me? We can even go further to see first name dot style. I want a border. There should be a border width, exactly a border width of 2 pixels. Let's do that for both because what I'm seeing is a little too thin. Then if it is not true, you should give the border width a what? A border color of what? Red, to tell you what you just typed in is not valid. Are you getting? Now you can even add an alert. The alert will tell you, okay, you can see the border radius is now very dark. The border width rather, to tell you what you just entered is what is correct. You can do the same thing for hair. So this is one way we can validate. I hope you guys are now following now. You guys are with me. Okay, that's good to hear. You guys are now following. But I feel this way we used in validating this is not making sense. Why do I say that? Even after leaving, I getting everything is still green. How about if we choose inputs rather than blur? Although the user is going to get scared on his first step of typing, but I feel it should be better. No, it's not, because we still have a background of green. So why not use tests?
Or is there no way we can do like a set timeout? What's it called? So that the moment we exit the input of the first name, it is going to take away the style it has set for the border. After verifying that the input you are entering satisfies the condition.
All right, yeah, that's one good way, and we can do that. And one more thing is, why not? We don't want the green condition, but we want the red. We just want everything to look normal, as if we didn't notice anything. We didn't notice that you wrote well. Are you getting? Why not just do only this? Then remove the else condition. Are you with me? So when we enter a right name, okay, sorry, if isValid is what? If isValid, isValid, let's say isValid is true now, it turns false. And if it's false, it should not run. But if isValid is false and we negate it, it becomes true. And it should give us a border color of red. So why is our code not running? How about I do a hot reload and I type in Evaristus. What What events are we listening for? Let's use the blur events. I think that's the best. You don't use the input events. Yeah, you see,
So,
I think this is
sorry.
better. But if something should happen, let's say
Sorry,
something
sir.
went wrong.
That that blow this thing that blow that you attached in the input. I mean, is it input? Yes. That blow that you attached as input in the add event listener. Is it that it is associated with a particular tag, or it is just a default tag on its own that we use in calling our event listener?
I didn't get that.
I'm saying that that blow that you added, excuse me, that blow that you added into as an input in the event listener that you called, is that blow attached to our HTML page, maybe like as an ID or something, or it is one of the add event listener
Is
syntax
there a way you
itself?
could type? Sorry, Tim, I just got kicked out. I don't know if you could type. I think my network just buffed a little just now.
How about now? I feel like it is just going to be long if I type. What I'm saying is that on that code where you added event listener, you add two inputs in place of block as a string, and you had a function there which is validate first name. I'm asking that block that you added as a string there, is it attached to a particular ID on our HTML page, or it is one of the syntax of the add event listener that we need to know?
Okay. Can I say something? Hello.
Oh, I was muted. I'm sorry about that, Temitayo. I didn't know I was muted all this one. I was explaining. Oh my god. So, Temitayo, just like as I was saying, the blow is an event that gets triggered when an element or an input feed loses focus. Are you getting? Now we attached it to a particular ID using our DOM, and which is the first name. You can see the first name here. I defined it here where I was selecting the input element, and I say first name should be document.get element by ID, and the ID is the what? The first name, and this is the first name here. Can you see that?
All right, thank you
I
very
hope that
much.
solves the question, Timtayo. I think I
Yes,
was
it
muted.
does.
Okay, I can see Joshua's contribution. Joshua said I should use inputs for live feedback. The user should get real-time validation while typing. And yeah, you should get a real-time validation while typing. But let's look at this condition, Joshua. Look at something like this now. Let me change this to inputs. And to me, I'm kind of scared whenever I've not even started typing and everything is red. I've not even made any mistake because I just want to type and everything is red. Are you seeing that, Joshua? So that's one thing I think I don't like. So on my own case, probably on yours, maybe you could try another kind of event list now. You could try something, a kind of different logic. But I would prefer this. We pretend as if we are not seeing what you're doing. But if you should make any mistake, once you leave, you get an error. And not just that, do you know what we are going to do this time around? We are going to insert. You know what we are going to do? We are going to insert another element here between the first name that says character should only be. I hope I don't have any other comments. Is there any other comment? Joshua, did you get what I just did now? All right. So that was what I just did. Let's do the same thing for the last name. Then let's do for the email and the phone number. There's no time to waste. Let's quickly do that. So what we'll just do is I already have it written here before. I'll just uncomment it and I'll change this to last name. Good. Now I'll go and call the function. I can actually duplicate this. All I just need to do is change the function name to last name, isn't it? So I would copy this. I think this last here should be capital letter. So I'll do Control C. I'll put Control V. Then here I'll change this to last name. This last name should be this the element, the input element for last name that we just selected. So let's quickly go to our. Let's also check for the email. So let's write our regex for email validation. Let's call this regex validates email. So yeah, I'm not going to be explaining much of regex. Regular expression takes in a value. So I would say const and I would say email regex. Remember, we are giving a pattern now. We are giving a pattern. We start. Hold on. So what should be inside? You can start with the string now. The string can start with a small letter, or it can start with a what? With a big letter, isn't it? Then it can also contain numbers from number 0 to the number 9. And not just that, it can contain a full stop. Remember, an email should have a .com or so. It can contain what else do you think it can contain?
It can contain art.
It can contain art. Yes, but we can't add art inside the container. It should be outside the container. So I think it
Okay,
can
what
contain an
about
underscore. Isn't it? And
what about hyphen?
yeah, it can contain an hyphen. We would add that also.
I don't think emails contain hyphen.
So
I don't think emails
yep.
contain hyphen.
Let's check for this. Let's add. Yeah. Then a plus, an hyphen. Then we can have a repetition of this. Yeah, can repeat this. Then
I can't
how
see the screen
about,
well. Have you added the full stop?
okay, yeah, we can add this one also. Then small letter 2 and big letter 2, 0 to 9. And you know, the plus, the percent, and the dash are valid. How would I put it? They are valid characters for an email. The the at is also a valid character. How about the dot and this is also a valid character? So you should match one or more of this. So let's add another plus. Then what else? Yes, we should you can match a period. Should match a dot. You understand? So we are escaping it. The forward slash is to escape. You understand? That's what the forward slash means in regex. What else should we add? So let's match the domain extension also. The domain extension. You know, the domain extension should be .com or so. So we have to check the gmail.com or so. So I'm trying to use my head to do this. So let's see, A to small z, then A to big Z. I hope I'm still in the meeting. Guys, I hope you guys can still hear me. Then it should not be, it should be at least 2 character long. You know, some email domain is .io or .com or you understand? It should be at least 2 character long. Then let us end our string. Am I still in the meeting?
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah. Yes, exactly. So I've written the email validation now. So let's test. We would now say return.
Oh, sir, we can't see the screen very well. Can you like help us drop it? I can't see it well.
Okay, I'm zooming now. How about now? Let me zoom. How about now? Can you see it now?
There's no difference. So
There's no difference.
yes, I think the zooming
Okay.
is only affecting your own screen.
Okay. All right, so I will drop the code for the email validation now. And I'll also commit this to the repo. Let me drop it now so that you guys can follow through. So sometimes when I'm talking, I kind of I get lost in what I'm explaining. I don't even know. I kind of forget what I'm doing. All right, so let me copy this. So this is to validate the email. Let me send it in. Meanwhile, for the first name, I don't need to send that to you. Temitayo,
Temitayo
for the first name, I don't need to send that to
can
you
check his network.
because all you just
Can check his network.
My network is very, very
Joshua, you were saying something.
You can also do full screen now. You can do your full screen now. So
I just did full screen and it's still the same. In fact, I pinned his own thing to the screen right now, so it's the same.
And this is my full screen mode, Joshua.
no, I can
It's
see
This is my
it.
full
I
screen
mean,
mode.
I can see it too.
Okay.
It's because we are having the call, the number of people in calls show on this side. That's why it's using it.
Okay. So there's no. Okay, I can move that. Wait, hold on. Why not just do like this? Then how about now? Can you see it now? Can you see it now, Temitayo?
Yeah, I think it's better like this.
Okay. So let's now validate for the email. So I'm going to uncomment what I've written here for the email. I wrote this while we were writing the code together. I think you guys had not joined when we were doing this. So it was only Lawrence and Joshua that was there. So let's validate the email. Function, and we'll call validate email. Good. Not taking any parameter. Then we say email is equal to what? Email dot value. Exactly. So what do we do now? So we say const and we say is email valid? Good. So let's check if his email is valid. Then we call I think we have to validate email here, which is not making sense. We have validate email here and we have validate email here. So let's change this to check email. Good. So we'll call check email. So we'll now do if, you understand, if his email is valid, then I think we should use our negate condition. Then we should just duplicate this. So we've been able to validate the first name, the last name, and the inputs. So let's check our email pattern and let's say we used okay. Now the event listener was supposed to be let's use block for both of them. So except my guess is not correct. Let's see. Okay, I did autofill. Wow, you guys should look at the last name. Are you guys seeing this? And I'm not getting red. Are you guys see what's happening in the last name? So why should that happen? Why is that? I was supposed to get red. Okay, because it was not in focus. If it was in focus, we should have red. Hold on a second. Wow, something is wrong. So let's check our validation again. Cannot access email before initialization. So where is that? Okay. We have two emails, that's why. Value and value. Exactly. I think this should work now. And that email issue should not be there anymore. If it's correct, then yeah. But what if I remove the dots? The dot com. It's still correct. It's still correct. Oh my god. Our reguess is reguessing. Hold on. And we don't have any error. I think this one should no longer be red. Still red. Oh wow. Why is it red? Let us check the first name and the last name again. If his alphabet is okay. I think one thing is the cause. That should hold on. I just keep getting my screen looking bad or so. Is it just me or?
I think you should cancel that center layout. It is checked. Maybe you
Yeah.
should uncheck it. That centered layouts at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let us restart the, because I'm feeling it's not hot reloading and I can't find the bottom again. Hold on. The Where is the good? No, I think I would just have to. Um, where was that feature? Nope. I think my VS Code just got refactored, so I would have to reset it. Okay, so this got very bad. Well, let's continue that way. Let that not stop the class. So guys, I hope you guys got the whole gist of the first name, the last name, and all that needs to be there. Our first name is showing an error, which is red. Okay, yeah, because it's Eva 4. Oh my god, and I was thinking I was just having errors. So Eva should not give us red. Should not give us red. And the email. Then how about the last name? We're having red in the Eva, which is the first name. So let's look it up and see why we are having the red. Okay, so let's check it out and let's see why we have the red. It's true. So we shouldn't be having red. True. It shouldn't be red. I guess the reload was not working. That's why we're just having red. All true. It happens whenever I change the email. So why is that? Okay, this is why. Look at the validate email. Rather than me choosing the email elements, since I copied it, it was the first name. And it happens whenever I lose focus, the first name got styled instead of the email. The same thing happens for the last name. That's why when we had the 444 on the last name, the first name got red. So that's just all what happened to the code. So most times in programming, you have to pay attention to the little things. I think I have a comment here. Yeah, I'll be pushing the repo also. So let's check it out one more time. We still have a red. Well, we have a red. Hold on. You don't give us a red. Yeah. Then 444. We should have a red. Yes, because it should be the valid name. Have just this name. Yeah, it should be a red. Telling you that the email is not what? Is not valid. Then let's try a dot and let us stop. We still have a red. Then what if we add .com? Yeah, we still have a red. But what if we now add the at Gmail? Should we still have a red? Yeah, we have a red because there is no number. But how about now? We still have a red. That means my regex validation is not correct. All right. Let's look at the blur. Okay, that's the blur event. And why are we having a red even when everything is okay? So we need let's call on another event listener. Meanwhile, let me push this repo and say added validation. So guys, look out for something. Why building now? Are you guys seeing this? Even when we've lost focus, are you getting the style still remains? So there should be something we should do. Are you getting that automatically change the style when the condition is what? When the condition is correct. So I think what we need to do next is I think we have to add our X condition back. Or call on an event listener. No, let's add the condition back. And you see email dot style dot color should not be shouldn't be green. Let's look at our index.css and see what we have there for the text inputs. The input style, what's the color? This is the border color. So let's go to our index.js and we'll use this instead. Yeah. So once the email is correct and we leave, we shouldn't have that condition. Well, that means our guess is not totally 100% correct, as I was using my head to do that. So we'll check that out. But meanwhile, our validations for our names and first name and last name is now working. And when we change this, we are supposed to get the color changing back to the usual color. So we would have to add to our code. So we change this to last name.
Sorry, I have a question to ask.
Okay, what's your question?
Can't we use real-time validation when the inputs are valid?
That's your inputs. Using the input
Yes.
elements. That's a good example of a real-time validation. Yeah, I don't just want to use input elements. So that's why I did it that way. So I just want whenever we lose focus, I guess whenever the focus is being changed, then it should be you could use real-time validation if you'd want to, but I think I'm okay with the blur event. The blur event is better, and you will see that in just a jiffy now. And Here is 0.6. Yep. And for the last name, so you could try out your what's the real-time validation and compare it with what I would be pushing, and you can now make a final decision. I prefer the blur events, so that's just one thing there. So let's check it out one more time. So the first name, let's autofill again. All right, so let's change the 4 since that your name cannot contain. Yes. So what's left is this. So that means I guess my validation for the email is not correct, but the rest works well. When I change this back, everything is green. Can you guys see that? So what's only missing now is my email validation, as I feel that is not correct. So let me check my console.log. Is there any other question as regard that? How about somebody write out the validation for the phone number? Can someone do that for me? The validation for the phone number. Who can do that? Who can do the validation for the phone number? Who here can do the validation for the phone number? Let's see if we got the concept of the class. Can someone try the validation for the phone number?
I will give it. I will give it a try. Though I
Okay.
was not studying
Joshua,
along
can you
with
give
you.
it a try? All right, Prince, you can give it a try. Temitayo, can you give it a try? Lawrence, how about you? Can you give it a try? Yes, Bolu. Bolu, can you give it a try?
Okay, okay. Let me give it a try. Am I supposed to say it?
So what we'll check in the phone number is it must only be numbers. And do we do validation for just Nigerian phone number? That'd be too complex for you, Joshua.
Okay. Can I give it a shot? Am I to say it?
Or you could type it. You could type.
Uh, it will take a while before I finish typing it too.
Okay. All right, guys. Guys should look at my email validation. It was actually correct. The only thing that was missing was the spaces. That was what didn't make my email validation to be correct for the word guess. So let me push it on the chat box for you guys. So you guys can try it out now. You will see that the email validation for the email validation now is not correct. Now it's red when the .com is not there. Remember, I said it must be 2. If I want it to be 3, I can put it here. Are you getting? I'll come here and change this 2 to what? To 3. And all of a sudden, that email, the .co will be red. Are you getting? But some email services have 2. So it's better we stick with 2 rather than 3. You should start with 2, but it should not be less than 2. Are you guys with me? So that is that for that. So my email validation works, and it works well. So we've been able to validate the first name, the last name, and the email. So what is left now is the phone number. So let's do validation for Nigeria phone number. So Joshua, let's have your try. Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, I would also push to the repo. So most times when you want to do validations for form, remember it's not just about the functions or so. It's being able to write valuable regex. Then when you move into libraries like React, yes, then trust me, you don't need to go through all of this stress of writing your regex. There are libraries like, even on your backend, if you are using Node.js, there are libraries that help you do already written. You understand? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are libraries that help you validate the first name, the last name, the email, and so. Are you getting? So
Hello, Mr. Iboy. Can I also put open bracket and close bracket
yes,
parenthesis
you
for my
can.
own? Okay.
Yeah, you can. Okay. So you can see yours now. It's, you are saying it should start with,
I'm still
you are
typing.
starting. Okay. Okay, let us explain your code. Let's explain your code together. So I can see a forward slash and a bracket. Then I can see all of this is being closed. That's 0 to 9. Yes. Then let's see your X, and it should be 10. It should be, how many numbers in Nigeria phone number? The minimum is 10, right?
Yes.
11 or not 10.
Minimum is 10 digits for most regions.
Okay.
Not 10, it's 11.
So now I can see Joshua zone is, should optionally match. You can see he's saying it should start with, are you getting? Then you use an escape character to say it should start with a plus sign. But the plus sign is what? Is optional. Are you guys getting? I'm trying to explain what Joshua wrote here for you guys. It should start with, look at the caret saying it should start with what? It should start with a plus sign. But you can't just write plus in your guess like that. You have to escape it. That is why it has the backward words. The backward slash. Yeah. Then he said you should start with a plus sign. But the plus sign is what? Is optional. Then you should match any of this 0 to 9. Any of this character. You understand? Then he also added that you should match white space character. So Joshua, why would you want to match white space character? Do you want to add spaces? Okay, for those that type and add space to their work, right? Spaces and hyphen. You said you should match the the space character. You know this is a space character. That's why you escaped it. If not, it will be alphabet S. That's why you have the forward slash here. So I guess this is the format you wrote yours for conditions whereby the phone number is plus. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Lawrence absent is, let's look at both. Then we would also choose. So wow, I love Joshua zone looks a little bit will I say a little bit complex. Yeah, a little bit complex, and but it's very, very interesting. So let's say 2, 3, 4. Now let's say there's a space and I put 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why you have this your forward slash X, the backward slash rather, which is to match any white space character. The backward slash is to escape the S so that the guess doesn't think is the alphabet S. Then you can also take in a dash. Yeah. Okay. Not just that. What else did you include? You also included that parentheses. You added parentheses to your work. Okay. So maybe the character can be, they can add a parenthesis like this, isn't it? Then I'm trying to explain your regex. Then what else is here? After the parenthesis is what? You said it should not be what? Minimum of 10 characters. Minimum of 10 characters, but I'm not seeing any plus sign. Where's Joshua's work? Okay. Minimum of 10 characters, and you said you should end the string. So, but yeah, this is very nice. Joshua, this is nice. But let's look at real world scenario now. You're a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian. Now, and if you should have this your guest now, and somebody goes to the site, you know, if I should have your guest and I put in this, it's going to tell me, yeah, it should tell me incorrect because I must have a plus 234. I must have a plus, although the plus is optional. Are you getting? So I think yours should work for that. Yours is just having a plus. So yours also still works. This also works for yours. Yeah, your validation works, Joshua. This is nice. This is nice. And I think the only thing we should remove is the parentheses. The parentheses and the what character is this again? The hyphen. We should remove that. Are you guys following? Is there anybody lost here? Is anybody lost here? Yeah, Joshua, well done. That's a very nice work. So let's look at Lawrence's own. Dimitai, are you following? Then where is Prince Bolu? Are you following? Yeah, Bolu have sent his also. So I think the next person we should look at is Bolu's own. Sorry, Lawrence's own. So Lawrence has let's look at what Lawrence have. Lawrence have a bracket. Yes, he has a bracket. So why should we have a bracket? What condition is Lawrence on starting with? Lawrence has a bracket, and I can see it. Let me look at this way. Well, starting with an optional. Yeah, so the bracket is optional actually, isn't it? Yeah, it's optional. So let me type this out. Bolu and Lawrence works is the same. Yeah, and Lawrence works looks the same. So let's look at it together. So the start of the string, then this should be a non-capturing group. All right. The entire absentee is also, and I guess it's the same. This most of you guys guess looks like an AI generated guess. I have to strain my eyes and look at it very well. Okay, so we have a bracket. Are you getting? And the bracket has a non-capturing group. Most Nigeria phone numbers, Temitayo, most of the developers I know, I don't know about you guys though, but it's very rare when you see a developer using the non-capturing group. Well, you guys are more. I love how you guys are attacking the situation, but it's very difficult to see a developer use a non-capturing group. So, so you're adding a non-capturing group. And the non-capturing group is telling us that you can either choose to match the +234, or you should use the 0 prefix, isn't it? That's what we have here. You should use the 0 prefix. Then what else is here? The next thing here is the 789. The 789 says you should match the next words 7, 8, or 9 digits. You should match it with words and match the next digits, which should also be 0 or 1, and match exactly 8 more digits. Match exactly 8 more digits. Okay. Match the next 7, 8, 9 digits. So let's see +234, which is optional. Let's see 234. Let's say we have a number like mine now. It's 1, 3, 4, 1, 0. That's how many now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 7, 8. Then matches the next digits, which should be a 0 or 1. Okay, so all of these are all under a non-capturing group, isn't it? Okay. Then matches exactly 8 more digits. All right, so you should start with a 2, 3, 4, followed by 7 or 8 digits, then 0 or 1, then exactly 8 digits. All right, so that's good. I think I prefer Lawrence and Bolu's own, and I also like Joshua's own. Joshua's own is very, very explanatory, and then I think Bolu and Joshua and Lawrence rather, both Lawrence and Temitayo's own need a little more of you straining your knowledge of regex. All right, so let's use theirs and let us generate our function. So after that, the next of the validation we should be doing, I can see I've covered back the 30 minutes I missed. I'm sorry about my network, my internet. So meanwhile, somebody should be doing the validation for the pizza. Okay, no, we don't need the validation because we have a number. We already have a system that does that. No, somebody should do a validation for the pizza so that somebody does not order 2,000 pizzas. You get, we need to validate. So it shouldn't be more than 2,000 pizzas. Somebody should do a validation for the 2,000 pizzas. Okay, people to do that. Let me tell you, how about you try the validation for the 2,000 pizza? Do you still have the repo? Try your validation, then send it to the chat box. You don't have the repo anymore. How about Lawrence? Lawrence, do you have the repo to the? Do you have the codes? If you do have it on your PC, let's try the validation for the number of pizza. Then probably we could use this as a take home though. We can use it as a take home. So let's just validate the phone number. Everybody should work on the rest of the validation. Tomorrow we'll work on React. Are you guys with me? Tomorrow we'll work on React, then we'll look at libraries that can help us to do that. So let's just finish up with the phone number and bring the class to an end. So let's see function, and we see validate or check phone number. Check phone number. And we say const, and we say phone regex, and we put this into it. And yeah, then we can say return, and we say phone regex dot test. value. Yeah, we would also do it this way. Since we already know, except I won't be needing this. I would rather wait and then put in value here. Then one more thing, we've not accessed our DOM in order to be able to get the phone number. So let's look for this here. And where is it? Phone number. We gave it an ID of what? An ID of phone. So we say constant. We say phone number be equal to what? Document does get element by ID, and it should be what? It should just be phone. So that's what's next. Here is my So let's write the function to validate phone number. And so we see constant, we see phone, which is this phone number we just mentioned. Yes, phone number, not even phone. Phone number is equal to, no, this should be number or value. Let's put this value. Should be equal to the phone number dot what? Dot the value. So we are assessing the value now of the inputs. Are you guys with me? So we check if the phone is valid. Is phone number valid? And we'll call our function, which is our what? Our check phone number function, and we'll assign it the value. Then write our if statement, our if else statement. Then we'll negate the condition, and we say is phone valid. Then if it is false, then it should run and give us red. Else, we should say phone number dot style, assign it the same color, and assign the width of the border style. So I hope we all get the whole gist, the whole logic. So now we can now validate our phone number. So let's go to the phone number. We can now type. So if peradventure we have 081 and there is a TTT 4569, well, something is wrong somewhere and we aren't getting the red we are supposed to. Let's look up our code again. Phone number, we get element by ID, which is phone, and we have not attached an event listener. So, and here we go. We add an event listener, deploy events, and validate phone number. So I think anything that has to do with JavaScript manipulation now, you guys can all see you are now pro level with that, isn't it? You guys now know how to use JavaScript. I talked about functions, everything that has to do with JavaScript throughout the week. Now we've talked about how to use the DOM, which is an interface for us to explore our HTML elements. Then how to interact with our HTML using JavaScript is via the DOM. We've seen all that needs to be done. So just a simple take home would be we finishing up. I can see I've only validated the first name, the last name, the email, and the phone number. So we are meant to validate the delivery address to make sure it's not empty. We're also meant to validate the delivery time to make sure the time matches from the time which the form was submitted, or let's say it matches today's date. It should not be on the 20th because you can't order something yesterday when we are already in today. Are you getting? So you validate delivery address, delivery time, the quantity of pizza, and also nothing else, just those two. So that's the take home, to make sure you guys are getting the concept. Am I clear, guys? Is there any question? If there's any question, please let me know. Okay, Lawrence, your hands is up. Let's have your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Are we please, I didn't get the take home. What we ought to do for as assignments.
Okay, so you can see the delivery address and the delivery time. So we have to do a validation for the delivery address, making sure that the delivery address is not empty. You get, something has to be there. Then the next we have to do validation for is the delivery time, so that somebody does not place an order. You know, currently we are on May 2nd. Somebody does not go to January of the year 2025 and place an order on the 2nd. So we'll do a validation for that also. Is that clear with you, Lawrence?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's good to hear. All right, so Prince, your hands is up. Let's have your question. Temitayo, is that clear with you also?
Mine is not a question actually. So I want to present what I did last time. If there is any error or
All right, all right. Do share your screen. Let us see. So I will stop presenting. But before that, Prince, let me quickly ask a question. Temitayo, Stido Dev, and Bolu. I hope you guys are clear with the take home and also with the class. Let me know in the chat box. All right, that's good to hear from Bolu and Temitayo. And Prince is also clear because I saw his thumbs up emoji. Then Stido is also clear with it. So Prince, you can now present your screen. Meanwhile, the attendance link will soon be dropped on the group chat. Sorry, on the WhatsApp, on the Google Meet chat box rather. So I've stopped presenting. Prince, share your screen with us.
so actually this is the little what I did from an eliminated CSS. They asked us to go and look for solutions. So this is my home page. So from here, you can, when you click here, it will take you to that process your order where we have all this button. Mr. Boyd, I believe I'm good with this.
Wow, this is wonderful, Prince. I can see the effects. Yeah, I asked of this effects such that it looks like it's typing. But it's like yours, when it's type welcome to Pizza Niger, then it starts canceling backwards.
I think
So we'll
that is
need
where
to
we
look
need
at
to
your code.
use. Okay.
You are going to share this with us. Then probably we'll discuss it in yeah, we'll discuss this in the next class. So you share the repo to the group chat. So we'll
All
discuss
right,
it
I
in
will
the
do
next
that.
class. That's a
So
job
let me.
well done.
Can I
I
share
remember
my?
I requested for this.
Can I share my CSS? Let's see how I work on that.
Yes, you would also share your CSS because the assessment was not to use your JavaScript, just your CSS to do that. So this is a nice job. I can see you guys. You did it. You nailed it, Prince. I remember I requested for this, and Prince gave me that, and I love this. Wonderful.
So this is
Okay,
where I
so
have that text
yes, so
driving
you are
that
going to do,
drive the text.
yeah, what you are going to do now is you are going to reduce um background. No, this is the background image, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
the image. Go to where you affected the text. Where was the CSS for your the text you affected? That text that was showing as if it was typing, or did you use JavaScript for that?
No, I'm only using this is it.
Okay, where is it? Okay, welcome notes.
So this
Okay,
is all about, this is where it's making the text to drive. So if I remove this one now, I will have a stroke on that type on the what they call. I'll have a stroke on the typing.
yeah, I'm looking at formatting your code such that it doesn't type backward. That's what I'm looking at. So how about you reduce, wait, take away the infinite. Can you take away the infinite? No, leave the infinite, take away the alternate. Take away the alternate. Yeah, just take away the alternate, then try running it. Let's see what it's going to be like. Go take us back to the browser. Let's see what's going to look like. All right, you can now
This is the browser
reload.
now.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let me remove this stroke.
Yeah, remove the stroke. Good. Now you would see that it doesn't type backward, but when you add the alternate, it types backward, which is not what we want. Then increase the animation time. Increase the animation time to increase it to 15 seconds. Then change it from linear. Change it from linear to ease in, ease out. Take away the linear, add ease in, ease out. Ease in and out. I think there's a, yeah, exactly, ease in and out. Good. Then let's go back to the browser. Let us see what we get. Okay. I think let's take back the animation time to 9. Take it back to 9 seconds. This is a very job well done. You did your research, you did your homework, and you wrote a wonderful code. Then the form, all you just need to do for the form is take my own repo, then copy the form we have here and use it for yours. Exactly.
All
So
right.
you take my own form and use it for yours. Well done, Joe. Well done, Prince. I give you 100% for this. You did a very nice job, and
Thank
I
you. Thank you so
sincerely
much.
appreciate. Yeah. So your knowledge base have now increased, and I really appreciate that. So you can stop presenting now. The attendance link is already on the chat box for the Google Meet. The attendance link is there. You guys should all fill the attendance, and once you guys let me know that you filled the attendance, we would now come to the end of the class. So how many of us have filled the attendance?
I'm still on it.
Okay. Okay. Right, Joshua said he's done with the attendance, filling of the attendance. Lawrence said he's done. Temitayo, Bolu, Stido. Prince is still doing his. How is it with you guys? All right, Bolu is done. Temitayo is done. Stido, I'm here to hear from you. And I want to say thank you guys for today's meeting, and I hope we've been able to meet your expectation when it comes to actually writing let me say applicable codes or applicable designs. So now when you're in a condition where you have to work with form, although we didn't work on our submit button, which we'll be doing. I think I'll do that as an introduction before we start the React tomorrow. If you find yourself in a condition whereby you need to design for let me say industry standards, you already know how to do that. Everything that has to do with form, you're familiar with that now. And that's all I have to say. If there's any concern you still have as regard HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that we didn't touch, yeah, you could also let me know so that we would also touch that. And also, there's a time where we'll be working on a real-time project. Of course, we'll be working on a real-time project. But for now, we're still whetting our appetite and getting ourselves strong for it. So Stido said he's done with the attendance and Prince is done with the attendance. If there's any concern, you can raise your hand and ask a question. In the absence of that, Joshua said, thank you, Mr. Iboyi, you're blessed. Yeah, thank you, Joshua. Blessed also. So in the absence of no question, this is how we come to the end of today's class. And I want to say thank you all for the consistency, the focus, and the efforts. And surely you will get rewarded, as that's the law of nature for that. So as I will come to the end of the meeting, and bye for now. Yeah, amen. And bye for now. I'll be leaving the meeting, and we can all take our leave.